What? Cody Ko slept with a minor? This is incredibly out of character for a former Delta Sigma Phi frat bro and aspiring DJ. That was sarcasm. I actually kind of saw this coming, and I think that deep down, we all knew something like this happening with the former frat bro was kind of incredibly likely to happen.
Teach me some slang. Teach me some teen slang. Teach me some teen slang.
Hi there, my name is Belle, and today I'm going to be talking about the allegations that have been made against Cody Ko and why it's more serious than your average YouTuber drama. More broadly, I'll be exploring something that I'm calling the good one archetype and how it shields people from actually taking accountability. So let's get right into it. Basically, on her podcast tour, Tana Mongeau was asked the following question.
Who's the smallest dick you've ever had sex with?
Oh my god, do no one look at me, Cody Ko.
Kind of hard to hear, but Tana says the smallest that she's ever been with is Cody Ko, and then follows it up by saying, I can say that. I was literally 17. When Tana was 17, Cody would have been 25, which makes that age gap both illegal and fucking gross. I've seen some people argue that the age of consent in California is 18, and since Tana was almost 18, it's basically fine, and it really truly sucks that I have to clarify this, but that is not fine. It is weird as fuck if you're 25 years old and interested in teenagers. Say it with me, guys. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. And even if Tana had just turned 18, they clearly, on the record, had some sort of working relationship beforehand. The power imbalance here is huge because of that age gap, and because Cody was actually a bigger creator than Tana during that time period. If you watch their videos together during this time, that's pretty evident.
Can I tell you something
What?
that I totally just remembered?
What?
So do you know what famous birthdays is?
Yeah.
One of the no, there's only one fact about me.
Okay.
And it's like she has collaborated with Cody Ko. That's the only fact. And then you click your link and it's like Steiner, it's well known for hashtag like all this shit. And mine's just like, oh, she's collaborated with Cody Ko.
Ugh, she seems so young in this video, and the difference between them is honestly just unsettling. The whole video is so creepy on Cody's part. He's literally just showing Tana old vines of himself.
Okay, see, this is funny. You ever seen my one of my vlogs where I do this character, Blaze?
No.
Okay, good. Glad you watch my stuff.
I do watch your stuff.
This is when it started. What's that? It's your boy Blaze. Pussy. Just fucking headbutted the camera. I headbutted the fucking camera.
That's funny as fuck.
That was my first funny one.
I promise you don't need to watch that video for yourself. You'll just be really uncomfortable. The entire video is just guy who likes you shows you his camera roll, except the camera roll is vines, and Cody is a grown man, and Tana is a teenager, and he filmed this interaction and put it on his YouTube channel for millions to see. I was truly shocked that he still had this video up, and I honestly won't be surprised if he takes it down, so just to be safe, I downloaded it. Apparently, Tana already admitted that she hooked up with both Cody Ko and JC Kalen all the way back in 2021, which I couldn't find footage of, but from what I can gather from reading comment sections, most people didn't really seem to believe Tana or really care what she had to say, which is truly shitty. I'm not a fan of Tana's in any capacity, but everyone should be able to acknowledge that a 17-year-old and a 25-year-old is fucking gross, and we really should listen to her. And honestly, if we had been paying attention to any of Cody's past behavior, we would have seen this coming because there were so many red flags. For starters, Cody has said the N-word in one of his vines and released a half-assed apology specifically to his Patreon members only. You can find the video on Reddit, but I really don't want to show it here because he says the word multiple times, and I think you get the idea. I will read his Patreon apology though. Here we go. Hey y'all. Some old vines where I say some really insensitive things have been surfacing on Twitter. They were really ignorant videos, and I wish I never made them. Last thing I'd want is for someone to feel alienated because of something stupid I said. It was a mistake, and I'm sorry if I wet you down. Cody. Now, this apology isn't for me to accept or not accept, but I do think it is really half-assed. People can absolutely make mistakes and grow from them, but to me, this apology doesn't show growth or even a desire to learn more about why his actions weren't acceptable in the first place. This apology was actually really hard to find, and I think that's because his management team works harder than the devil himself, but we'll get into that later. Another thing that is really difficult to find information on and rarely discussed is one of Cody's close friends, Colby and the rape accusations made against him. Trigger warning for rape, coercion, sexual assault. So Cody and Colby were in the same frat at Duke University together, and they were close friends. Here's a photo of Colby at Cody's wedding. I was also able to find what looks like an old Twitter account of Colby's, and I can confirm this because Cody's official Twitter account is also following this. And I also found that he reposted this gem of a tweet. Uber facts: the average male brain is about 10% bigger than the average female's. Apparently, when Cody and Kelsey got married, some people on Reddit actually saw this photo of them with Colby and pointed out that this man was accused of rape during his time at Duke, and the victim had video proof of this incident. It was incredibly difficult to find information on this case, but one Reddit poster included the screenshot from what looks to be an article that's documenting the incident. It read the following. Victim began attending Duke in the fall of 2010. According to victim, on March 6, 2011, a fellow student, Colby Leachman, drugged her and then raped her. Mr. Leachman was the son of a Duke professor and the stepson of Duke provost, and the rape occurred in the provost's home. He also invited another student, Bryant Self, to rape the victim while she was drugged. The rape occurred later that night in Mr. Self's dorm room. Mr. Leachman recorded a short video of the victim's rape by Mr. Self. Mr. Leachman showed the video to a few people, but not his entire fraternity. I also found another article that's hidden behind a paywall, and I'm not going to share what that article was because it does mention the victim by name, and I think we all should leave this woman alone. I certainly don't want anyone to track her down because of my video, so please, 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 please do not attempt to identify this victim. I'm sure she wants to be left alone, given all of this immense trauma. I will say that this article states that although Colby wasn't convicted, he did admit to recording the victim without her consent and faced probation. The judge on this case also said, and I quote, "Reasonable people might well think that more serious consequences would have been appropriate, and even under their own version of the facts, Colby and Brian behaved horribly to the victim and at least one other woman." I want you to remember that actually getting a rape conviction is incredibly difficult, and that's just another one of the many reasons why victims typically don't come forward. The article also states that the victim took a leave of absence this semester after the incident and didn't want to pursue charges at first, probably because reliving your trauma just to have the courts and your university do essentially nothing must be incredibly damaging. Also think it's really important to point out that Colby's dad was a professor at Duke University, and his stepdad was the Duke provost, so for the victim to come forward at all against those odds was incredibly brave, and for what it's worth, I certainly believe her. It's really not a secret that universities will go to extreme lengths to protect their reputation, along with the reputation of frats, and in my opinion, it seems like nepotism played a huge part in Colby not facing charges. In Cody's subreddit, it seems like the mods are working overtime to censor any discussion about Colby. Some people even defend him and argue that just because his friend was accused of rape doesn't mean he's guilty, but again, getting a rape conviction is incredibly difficult, and even the judge implied that Colby's behavior should warrant more serious consequences. A reminder, this man was in Cody's wedding party, so it's extremely unlikely that Cody wouldn't know about this rape accusation. It sucks that this has to be said, but being friends with an alleged rapist is bad? Can we all agree on that? Rapists are bad and being friends with them is bad? Can we just agree on that, please? I'm literally begging you. I really feel like people don't quite understand that a large creator associating with alleged rapists or having a statutory accusation themselves is much more serious than your typical internet drama. Maybe it's because popular channels that cover petty YouTuber drama also end up covering these topics with the same sort of gravity, and the people tend to lump the two together. For the sake of victims everywhere, we really need to start making distinctions between the two. Imagine you're a victim of sexual assault and you see a famous creator being accused of sexual assault. You'll witness fans of this creator run in circles trying to defend their favorites with the same rape apologist talking points you've heard all too often. Well, does she have any proof? Why didn't she come forward sooner? She was almost 18, so it's no big deal. She must have been asking for it. He's a good person. He wouldn't do that. You've heard it all before. You watch some drama channels that seem to be the only ones talking about it, but they lump this information in with other random events happening on the internet at that moment and move on to the next viral topic. Within a few days, it seems like nobody is talking about this anymore, and the accused creator is left unscathed. How would that make you feel? Would you feel emboldened to come forward with your own sexual assault, or would you keep it to yourself, afraid of nobody believing you, or even worse, people believing you, but not caring at all? This is why sexual assault victims don't come forward. As much as people love to fucking yap about cancel culture being dangerous, more often than not, these people literally do not face long-lasting consequences. I guarantee Cody Ko won't lose millions of his 6 million subscribers. This probably won't make a dent in his career, and that sucks, but it won't stop me from saying something. It needs to be said that the people you surround yourself with absolutely reflect your own morals, and if Cody doesn't care about this incident, it's fair to assume he doesn't give a shit about women, And to be honest, who knows what this man gives a shit about, given the entire nature of his online presence is extremely lighthearted and apolitical. I will admit that I've watched some of Cody's reaction videos before and I had no idea of these allegations, but it does seem like his management team has done a good job minimizing the impact of this revelation. But also, I'm sure a lot of people who consider themselves fans of Cody's don't really care about these allegations, which may be hard to hear, but I think it speaks to the apolitical nature of the content he creates. So for this video, I looked more into Cody's past content, his current content, his company Tiny Meat Gang Studios, and his music, and I have to warn you here, I'm gonna be a little mean. Yeah. But I honestly don't care that much because I really don't hold a lot of empathy for apolitical millionaire rape apologists. Sue me. I watched some of his music videos and it feels like this man never mentally left college, and it makes me so uncomfortable. There's a certain level of mindlessness to everything he touches, and I really wish I never saw any of it.
I keep the stick fat, your chick is with that. I got her up in the crib, she cooking baby back. She got that cookies and cream, I call her Shake Shack. I got that IHOP dip, she call me Short Stack. And I don't give a fuck about nothing. Your girl in my kitchen and I know she cooking muffins. Got a chode like dick fat, short and fucking wide like a tree stump, girl, but it ain't about the size. Keep your dick fat, keep your dick fat. Every motherfucking day you keep your dick fat.
He truly is straight white man culture personified, and as much as I'd like to forget people like this exist, Cody's popularity reminds you that they're still in the majority. I think people who don't identify at all with this culture give Cody specifically a pass for this behavior because he seems self-aware enough to poke fun at that straight man behavior. This self-awareness is exactly why people have framed Cody as one of the good ones, but that doesn't change the fact that he's exactly the type of person that he's making fun of. Cody's content on YouTube is mostly him reacting to something cringe. Very rarely does he create content that is completely original. He typically reacts to dating reality shows, and his reactions showcase an immature sense of humor surrounding the taboos of sex and dating in general. And I am not going to pretend that this doesn't result in some funny content on occasion. Like, my sense of humor is absolutely not too sophisticated for that stuff. It's just very one-note and thoughtless, which is probably why it's appealing to a mass amount of people in general. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the world around you, but things are like really fucking awful, and there's a certain appeal to watching something that is so pointless that your mind almost just shuts off for a minute. Also, I do think there is something to be said about Cody being a straight, cis white man who people view as one of the good ones. Our culture has conditioned us to seek approval from this exact type of person, and watching him not absolutely dunk on someone who is kind of awkward on these dating shows gives the impression that these guys aren't so bad after all. We might not like to admit it, but most of us are in some way still seeking the approval or normalization of our cringe behaviors from cis white men, and Cody does exactly that. That's my kind of out there take on why Cody is popular, but at the end of the day, his content is extremely well produced, and the reaction formula is both consistent and entertaining. We all want to forget how bad things are sometimes, but just because we deserve a little mind-numbing treat every now and then, that doesn't mean we have to support people who literally stand for nothing, or worse, have a statutory rape accusation. In this economy, our attention is essentially a form of currency, and withholding that attention sends the message that we will no longer support someone who is apolitical during unprecedented times of suffering. There's literally an entire coalition called Creators for Palestine, and not all their videos are about some serious issue, so there really isn't an excuse to continue to support Cody. Oh, also, the agency that he signed with, called United Talent Agency, is fucking terrible. And here's some proof. For starters, United Talent Agency has been caught censoring those who speak out against Israel or dropping them from representation entirely. Back in 2023, UTA dropped Susan Sarandon, my queen, as a client after she started vocally campaigning for Palestine. She said, quote, "There are a lot of people afraid of being Jewish at this time and are getting a taste of what it feels like to be a Muslim in this country, so often subjected to violence." And that was enough for essentially firing her. Also, United Talent Agency's Art Space was recently hosting an exhibition for Cal Arts students, but was accused of censoring artist statements who wanted to speak up about Palestine, resulting in multiple of them dropping out of the show entirely. And for the cherry on top, UTA also still represents Shane Dawson. So apparently, they're actually cool representing someone who has repeatedly done blackface, said the N-word, spread conspiracy theories, admitted to committing bestiality, and sexualized literal children, but being pro-Palestine is where they draw the line. It honestly can't be overstated how powerful UTA is in the entertainment industry, so it really doesn't surprise me that Cody's previous controversies are difficult to find mainstream coverage on. Like I said, the devil works hard, but UTA works harder. Unfortunately, I don't think Cody is going to be canceled. I think people will talk about this on TikTok for a bit and then ultimately move on to something else. He'll most likely recover just fine from this controversy given his huge following and protection from UTA. And at the end of the day, I can't tell you what to watch, and I certainly can't make you care. All I can do is put this information out there. Damn, that rhymed. That was kind of a bar. Better than anything Cody's ever written. And I do think some people will be disillusioned with Cody after this revelation, even if it's just a few people. I do think we're slowly moving towards becoming a culture that is more mindful about who they're supporting, and I think that's a good thing. I want to see more of that. That's all I have to say about this for now. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you listening, and I'm going to have more content out soon. I'm actually working on some more serious projects that will be longer and more informative, and I'm pretty excited about them and proud of them from what I have so far. So if you'd like to see that, please subscribe. Thank you again. Bye.